painting this wood wide web painting. I actually started and did it in 2020, and I've been having some fun with it, except there was something about it that was bugging me, and I couldn't quite, pin the tail on the donkey on this one. So this part here, my fungi, my mushrooms, and the roots here have all been done in something called modeling paste. So they're 3D. I use kind of like a cake piping decorating tool to pipe my roots in. As well as sort of intermingling the roots of my fungus, which makes it the wood wide web. If you haven't heard about that, look it up. It's very cool. It's about how trees communicate, with other plant life, and fungus are a very important part of how that happens. So I did all this work and I stuck on the wall where I would see it every day because I knew something wasn't working, and for some reason I couldn't figure out what that was. Until suddenly I just felt like a doofus, because there are some very basic tricks with color use that bring a painting together. One of them is using complementary colors. We do it in interior design, we do it in our clothing, patterns in our outfits, material. So complementary colors, basically, I'm going to use my color wheel to show you, but basically they're usually the colors across from each other. That's why we like red and green at Christmas. They're complementary. They're opposing. They're the opposite, but somehow they work together. It's like two opposites bringing the best in each other out. And so the color I use of the brown and the green worked well, but the brown, the reds, which I was using from a photograph, which I kind of was very happy with, is not working with the blue. Now, just as a note, everybody's monitor, everybody's sort of device isn't necessarily calibrated. So you may think, this looks fine on your monitor, but it doesn't in person here, not for me. So there's sort of another thing that works with color too. It's like a harmony, or harmonious sort of a thing, where there's like a threes, like the oranges, the purples, and you can use your color wheel to figure that out too. And the greens. And that's what I think I'm going to do. So instead of just using the color wheel, during the pandemic, I learned how to use Procreate. And I'm a big fan of the program. So let's move this in front a little bit. So this is a photograph of the painting, and it's in Procreate, and I created a couple different layers of just the sky to play with it. So that's sort of this layer. And that's maybe a little too purple. I definitely needed to do something different, and then I tried this one. Way too much, right? I went a little more blue, a little more greeny, also not working. So I played more with this one, and I think this is what's going to do it. So, and I will show you the color palette. It's called Harmony. So in Procreate, you're just plain old disc, which you can kind of see where you'll get your harmony from just by moving the color around. You can see that your opposing color is going to be on the opposite side of the disc. Then just use your classic, you can pick a color, and then harmony, which I like because you can move it around and your harmony colors there, and it will sort of save them up here, which I kind of like. You can create palettes, you can play with your values and really kind of mix the colors here as well. but harmony is where I was kind of playing with this. So I then mixed some colors based on this. So I'm going to shove this back a little bit and show you sort of a quick, very quick basic lesson in what I did. So the colors I generally use, Cerulean Blue, primary red, it's kind of a pinkish tone, it's not a red, and cadmium yellow, it's light hue, this one, and white. In this case I'm trying to use up my gesso. I got a big giant one and I haven't been using it enough, so just plain old white. And something that I kind of use, especially when I'm doing sort of nature scenes, when I want to get a nice skin tone and get some browns. Raw sienna is good, burnt umber sometimes too. So you can't see the blue on here anymore because I've mixed it all, but basically there's some blue that was over here, the cerulean blue, with the yellow, with the red, and with the raw sienna. So what might surprise you is pretty much every color on the canvas has all of those colors in it, with or without the white. I try not to use black, but I think I probably did through some of the darker tones here. So even in the sky, I've got even the smallest amount of this in the sky, even in this blue. But what I didn't have was, I think I didn't have any of the red. I went completely without it, and I think that's why it's flat somehow. So I have mixed some colors based on my playing around in Procreate, and I'm going to do a wash. Thing to remember is when we mix colors in acrylic paint, the light will dry darker. So I went a little lighter than what you're going to see on the on my iPad. I've got some darker tones because I want to play with, you know, with the sky a little bit. But basically, there is yellow, there is raw sienna in this, there is my red, and there's lots of blue. And all of these colors are pretty much, except for all my white 3D carved in fungi, they're white with, I've got like a nice pearly essence on top of those. So we're going to play with some sky.